Welcome to AI Bytes. Oh, shit, sorry, I mean GCP Bytes. Welcome to GCP Bytes, episode number 36 for Friday, the 13th of March, 2026. GCP Bytes is a podcast where we discuss Google Cloud and tech. And I'm your host, Stephen Bancroft. On today's show, vibe coding and PC hardware. Find out what I've been up to. Google leapfrogs all, Nanoclaw or Openclaw. We take a look. And what's all this Anthropic hubbub about? Find out in the AI wars. But before we get to any of that, I'd like to introduce the co-host of the show, Dave Wall. How are you, Dave?
Yeah, I'm just a little bit shocked that we're at 36 episodes already.
I know. You'd like just 18 months or something? Yeah. And our very own GDE, Ian Brown. How you going, Ian?
Oh, mate, I've got a weird voice because I've just got over the dirty Rona. But glad to be here and upright.
Yeah, no, good. I'm glad you're pulling it. You're doing it. What's the words I'm looking for? You're
not dead.
Not dead for us. That's good. That's good.
And you're looking very fresh-faced without your beard.
Yeah, don't ask why that is.
Ooh, yeah, I think you mentioned it now. Yeah. Stand up the other day. We won't go there.
Yeah, let's not.
Oh, boy, what a week it's been. The AI stories, they just keep going and going and going. We've been joking about maybe we should change the show name to AI Bytes because that's it. That's all it is now, isn't it? That's all it is.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's getting a bit crazy, really. But I'm looking forward to what's going to come of the big bust that I think is going to happen very shortly.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. The bubble burst.
Yep. I think it's going to be like the .com era, but it's going to be the AI.com.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at like the wider things going on, so putting aside just the self-contained AI thing, if you look at the wider macroeconomic things with the whole Iran situation, if we end up with, well, we are ending up with energy prices like absolutely skyrocketing, if that starts sucking money out that these AI funds require to keep going, and well,
yeah.
Well, yeah,
suck some oxygen out of there.
There's a question mark over it. I mean, I watch a couple of military YouTube channels, and there's sort of a question on whether Russia's going to get involved or not, and then we basically will have World War III. So,
well, it's interesting that China has backed out of it.
Yeah.
So China used to be supporting Iran, and they've just sort of like thrown their hands in the air and gone, "No, we're not into this."
Well, okay, so that's an interesting point, right? Is that China is doing the do nothing win approach. Mm-hmm. Looks like they have scaled back some of their antagonism towards Taiwan. I think at the moment is that they know they've got this rogue actor in the US, and they don't want to kind of poke that right now. They're like, all right, well, Taiwan is there. We're here. We can get that later. So seeing that they've wound that back, and overnight, Iran's allowed like a whole lot of oil to go through the strait that is bound to China. Because Iran's been supplying China for years, like the two of them have got relatively sort of fine sort of energy relationship. So this puts the whole situation in a very interesting state, right? Because if Iran controls the straits and they can send China's oil out, obviously that makes China happy. If anybody else tries to then blockade the straits to stop China's oil that's a real bad situation, right? So
I didn't think that Iran had control of the strait anymore, because I'm sure I saw a story last week that El Presidente of the US said that he blew up all the ships.
All the ships.
He says stuff.
He's destroyed their navy 5 times over.
But I was sure he said that he'd just completely obliterated their navy, and I'm like, okay, well, in that case, then there's no problem with fuel security or anything like that.
Well, look, ask Russia what it's like to be fighting a nation that doesn't have a navy.
Yeah,
we will get onto it because the two stories do intersect. We've got. I don't think I put it in our thing, but I'll put it in our chat, guys. NVIDIA halts H2 production as China backs away AI chips, and of course we've got this whole thing going on with the Department of. I can't call it the Department of War. It's the Department of Defense and Anthropic. So we'll get onto that a little bit later. But in the meantime, what have you guys been doing with the tech adventures over the fortnight?
Dave's got the best one so far.
Well, yeah.
It's an iPhone disguised as a MacBook.
Yeah. Well, I haven't bought one. No. But it is really cool because it only just came out yesterday. So this is the MacBook Neo. And I mean, this is a pretty compelling product that Apple's brought out, right? Like at the price point. So in Australian dollars, $899 for a 13-inch MacBook that's running the A18 CPU. So the best phone CPU that Apple makes, that they put in the Pro and the Pro Max phones. It is cheaper than a phone.
Yeah, and this is where my issue becomes you can't manufacture a phone with the A18 for less than $1,500, but you can manufacture a MacBook with the same chip for half of it.
Well, I would say that you do have the thing of like it is easier to make a larger device.
It is.
Right, so yes, you do have additional resources, but you've also got a lot more room.
But they've been manufacturing phones for what, a dozen years now? I don't know. 2005 wasn't it when the first iPhone came out? So 20
something like that, yeah.
Yeah, 21 years.
Yeah.
So surely, and I'm just going to go out on a limb here. Surely you've got your pattern down pat.
No, it's very hard.
Yeah. But every single phone is entirely different except they all look identical. Here's one that looks like the last one, and it looks like the current one.
Actually, yesterday I grabbed my colleague's phone because he has the same phone case, and it was only when I picked it up and then went to use it and the background was different. I was like, the bloody black rectangles all look the same.
All black rectangles, yeah.
No, I think it's a really compelling product. It's sort of like, do you remember when netbooks came out?
Yes,
right, and so we had this
so underpowered and
they were like Atom chips.
Yeah, I had one. I had one for a while there.
Yeah, I got one from Vodafone. It was it came with a data plan. It was I don't know, $20 a month or something. It came with a device. I thought that was they were underpowered, but it got a device in your hand that gave you kind of a laptop experience with a lower spec CPU. These seems like they're quite performant, and $900.
Yeah,
they're aluminium body. Look at any Windows laptop that you can buy right now for sub $1,000. This blows all of them out of the water.
Yeah.
Right?
Look, I think it's probably a great thing for school kids, for instance.
Yeah. I'm looking at it
as be perfect for them.
It's a go at the Chromebooks. That's when I saw it, I immediately thought, it's a Chromebook. Yeah.
I don't think for any sort of power user at all, it would be even remotely on the table. I don't even think for most serious office workers, it would be something that I'd put on the table.
I don't know. I'm reading a review from overnight, and the guy was thrashing it. What did he say? He was running because he was complaining about there's only 8 gig of RAM in it. So yes.
Well, that's all you can afford at the moment.
Well, correct. But
that's $799 of the
price. Where was it? Because I was reading it this morning. Because he was saying how it was all going to run out of memory, but he was running he was running multiple videos and a Teams call, a Zoom meeting, and a few other things, and he was only I'm at 7 gig of the memory and it's running out. And I'm I don't know, man. Who watches 4 videos simultaneously while also on a video call
No, not I.
No, no one,
that's
right? And I'm not going to buy this thing and run Fusion 360 on it and try and do any rendering, because if I needed to do that, I would buy a MacBook Pro.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
But if I just need to use a browser and word processing and chat client.
I think one of the interesting things I'm having a look at this Wired article about it, and one of the interesting things I found in it was, so Spotlight, which is the little searchy thing that you do, like the command space and do your search, runs in about 170 meg of RAM. Now, I don't know what it uses just idling. It says here, it takes around 4 gig just to run the operating system with no applications open. So I've got 16 gig of RAM in my MacBook Air that I'm using currently. And with 2 Chrome windows open, with all the tabs that I have in all of those Chrome windows, plus all the other sort of like anti-gravity open and chat apps and all that sort of stuff open, I am basically flatlining that memory.
Yeah. Remember, there is a thing called swap file.
Oh, yeah.
And stuff will get paged out when you're not using it. You're not going to be using all of those things at once, right?
Yeah, and there's also the fact that you've got your laptop is also going to make use of the memory more than it needs to.
That's right.
And if it starts running out, it's like, okay, well, I'll throw some of these things off to the side, because if it's there, it can use it.
Right? And SSD, like your solid state on board storage that you've got these days, is almost as quick as your memory.
Exactly. The NVMe is quite fast. Yep.
I think the issue that I've got, the only real big issue I've got with the Neo or all of the lower end Macs, is the amount of bloatware that is in Mac OS these days. There is so much crud in there that you just can't get rid of. I was looking through mine because I'm running out of disk space on a 512 gig disk, right? And I'm looking through it going, what can I get rid of? Oh, chess. I never play that. Get rid of it. No, you can't do that. Oh, AI.
It's a load-bearing chess.
Yeah. There's another one here. Like, there's a whole heap of applications here that are just on the device, like weather. I've never opened the weather app on this device ever. Time Machine, also never opened it. Stocks, never looked at it. Siri, never used it.
So you add all of that up and quite a bit of bloatware.
Oh, there's tons of it, and you can't get rid of any of it.
You will have to go and look for a slimmed down version of macOS. There is one for Windows. It's called Tiny 11, and whenever I do a Windows machine now, it's always Tiny 11. It's great.
I always use the Chris Titus.
The deep loader. Yeah, I've used that before. I've used that on my main machine here because Tiny 11 wasn't around when I went from 10 to 11. It doesn't do quite a good a job. Tiny 11 is really stripped down, and the great thing about it is you don't need to log in with a Microsoft account when you set it up. It strips all of that out.
Speaking of which, did we see that Ubuntu is going to be forced to, or has actually already implemented cloud logins now? So that they can verify your age so that they can use it in California?
In California, yeah.
But I mean, besides that, it is just nice that they've got Auth in the universal packages by default, right? Like, it's great to be able to do cloud login to your Ubuntu machines.
Yeah, but people...
Look, the whole premise behind Linux was privacy first. It was
okay. But real people who do serious work in their businesses and need workstations, right, would like to use Google Workspace to log into the workstations, right?
And I don't disagree with that. I don't think that any organisation, government or otherwise, should ever enforce or force an open source product or a closed source product to say you must verify the age of a user.
It's all about the safety, Ian. The safety. It's all about safety.
Yes, I've heard this so many times. The safety.
I mean, I guess where I've come down on a lot of this stuff is like, I can't be bothered having arguments about it, right? Like, because
I kind of feel
nothing in like my professional opinion is going to shift the 8 ball. So I'm like, fine. This is what's coming. Yeah. Okay.
And don't worry about it. There'll be stripped down dark web versions that don't have this stuff going on. It'll be fine. If you just want to get like a raw version, then have at it. It'll be available. I don't think it's such a doom and gloom.
Yeah.
It's just because
it was the same as when I first set up my business, and it was like, well, the whole digital identity thing, you don't have to have a digital ID. But if you own a business, the only other way to interact with the ATO is via mail. You can't sort of use like two-factor authentication or anything like that. You must have a digital, like the MyGov ID.
Yeah.
Like,
hand over your papers. Yep.
Yeah. You don't have to have a digital ID, but you know.
Okay. All right. I don't understand why I would be irritated by I have to prove to the government that to access the keys to the kingdom, get into my ATO and to redirect where my like tax returns and everything go, right? So I need to provide my government IDs that the government gave to me back to prove that. Who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares? No. It's not like I'm having to use it to sign into my Pornhub account, right?
I don't disagree with that at all. Like, you've got to authenticate people. I don't agree with the government having all of my information, though.
But they've already got it.
They have it.
You got it off them.
Information. They've got my driver's license and my passport that they gave to me.
But it's more of a you're centralizing a whole heap of data and creating a massive repository of personal information that is ripe for attack. That's my issue with it. It is, and governments are notorious for not being able to secure things, as we've seen in the news. Like WA have just had I chucked it in the chat yesterday, I think it was. They've just had a huge security breach, and then the Signals Directorate coming out and saying that what is it, less than 25% of government organisations are compliant with their security rule. Like, well, yeah.
I reckon I would feel more comfortable about a central repository, like a central federal government department that is responsible for managing all of this like critical data, and it's it's a big honeypot, but it's one thing to defend versus like, okay, well, this is like Vic roads and New South Wales, I don't know, whatever your road thing is, like all the different state ones and like all these little bits, which there's smaller departments and smaller budgets. Like it's a larger attack surface as opposed.
They don't follow the rules.
That's where I kind of come down on it. It's like,
I suppose there's pros and cons to both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. We could talk about that particular one for ages. Let's talk about something fun.
We can go on for ages.
I've been doing a little vibe coding experiment during the week. I have, as you can see, I have some audio gear around me. Now, there are some this particular audio card by a company called Marker the Unicorn, MOTU, and this card's great because you can plug it in and then you've got breakout cards that plug into that, and no one had successfully reverse engineered that to work on Linux. And I have to say, I haven't cracked the nut yet, but I've got quite far along with it. Now, what I did to do this, I took the Windows drivers and the binaries, and I loaded them into Ghidra. You guys know what Ghidra is, right? And I disassembled them in Ghidra, turned them into assembly code, dumped all of that into a folder, LSPCI, pulled all the info out from that, and had Gemini create a prompt and told it about all this information. The prompt was huge, like 100 lines worth of prompt. Set that into Gemini CLI, set it to YOLO mode, and just went, have at it. And it went, and it took about 20 minutes, and I had a working module, Linux module, that initialized the card and started it up, and it showed up in ALSA. And then it continued improving on that. It worked out the control interfaces, and then we started getting stuck. Then what I had to do was take a QEM version of Windows and intercept the PCI bus and create a log. And it took that log output and then had a massive breakthrough around how the card initializes. And I have to say, right now, we're close. We're very close to vibe coding a hardware driver for Linux that hasn't been done to this point. Very,
nice.
very close. The only thing I haven't, it's just not, I've got the firmware, I've got the binary blobs. It's not initializing the clock to hit it at 44.1K. A little bit more over the next couple of days, and I reckon we'll crack it. I reckon it'll be cracked. But it's
we'll look forward to hearing about it in the next podcast.
Yeah, it's quite incredible. Like watching it go through and look at the assembly dumps and look at the logs, and I've got no idea what it's doing, but it's doing it. It's clearly doing it. But I was amazed that it created that module so quickly and works.
And Ghidra is a really cool tool.
Oh, Ghidra is
it
cool.
It really is.
Yeah.
They do good things.
Yeah. And then my other little tech adventure was between this is a shocker. Between my son's computer, which is a B550M, and my computer, which is a B550, ASUS B550, they're DDR4 motherboards, which we're staying on for the moment.
Yep.
But he's got a Ryzen 5 in his, and I got a Ryzen 7 in mine. Now, I had got my new video card and put my old one in his machine, and for whatever reason, his machine just kept crashing. And this only became apparent when the video card was changed over. Why? We don't know. I'd updated drivers. I'd changed this, that, and the other. I even put one of those Corsair all-in-one liquid cooling units in. I'd not installed one of those before. They're pretty cool. Anyway, it turns out that motherboard detects the Ryzen 5 as a Ryzen 7, and the CPU voltage was too high, and after a little while of running, it would just crash and burn. So, of course, Gemini solved this. I gave it all the symptoms. I took a couple of photos of the BIOS, a couple of photos of CPU-Z, and it said, it looks like your core voltage is too high for a Ryzen 5. Go into the BIOS and do yada, yada, yada. And sure enough, it's fixed it.
Right. So your issue
Gemini
was that previously you were GPU throttled, and then so the CPU wasn't running particularly, like it wasn't running at max when gaming.
Yes.
So then when the GPU issue was resolved, then the CPU was running harder, which meant that the voltage would pull the heat up.
Yeah, under load, it puts the voltage up, which then it would go past the 1.5 volts for the CPU core, and then it would shut itself down.
Gotcha.
So the way to do it was to adjust the voltage offset. I took 0.1 volts off the voltage offset, and that's dropped it down. And now when it's under load, it's running at 1.2 volts, so it doesn't shut itself down.
Lovely.
Huh, very good.
And
yeah.
I didn't know until I only found this out last week that, you know, you've got A motherboards and B motherboards and Z motherboards and all that.
Yeah.
They all mean different things.
Well, that's your chipset. Yeah.
So the letters in front give you the performance rating of the board.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, the A ones are the super cheap, your happy ones. B's your nice kind of price performance, and then Z is give me all the bells and whistles.
Give me all of the things. Yeah.
Let's go. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So I didn't know
Small
that until
PCIe lanes, a few things like that.
Yeah. I didn't know that until last week. I was like, oh,
there you go. And the other small one I've been mucking around with, my media center is going under thermal shutdown, so I just got to get some new fans. So I'll let you know how that one goes as well.
Get in there, repaste it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
And what about you, Ian? What have you been cracking along with?
What's this?
Mate?
Besides the plague.
Yeah, besides hosting the dirty Rona. So I've been doing a bit more updates on the WebMarker, and I got my first email the other day with a user feature request, which is really cool. So I'm in the process of building that out now. We'll see how it goes. I'll give them a test run probably this weekend and show how it goes. But yeah, first user feature request, which is fantastic.
Hey, very nice. Now you have to integrate it with Stripe so you can put billing in.
All right, look, that's about half an hour worth of banter there.
I'll just wrap up the podcast. That's enough.
Best part of the show.
That'll do. We're done.
Let's get on with the community news. Righto, Ian, take it away.
Righto. Community news. There's a few on this week. I think I got 5 in here now. GDG Brisbane, they're having their cloud and AI meetup for March, which will be happening for everybody who's listening to the podcast on Friday. Will be happening on Friday from 5:30 p.m. at Level 3, the Precinct in the Valley. And the event has 2 different sessions on it. The first one is building an AI-powered web app with Firebase and Gemini. And the second one is lessons from bootstrapping to 100,000 users. So that seems to be a really interesting one. Get yourself along to that. Next one on the list is GDG Sydney. They've got their Build with AI and International Women's Day event on. It's at Google Sydney in Piermont. Again, 4 p.m. on Friday. RSVP to that one, and it's another GDE, Lovey, is doing chaining NTP servers with Gemini ADK. He's called it Postcards from the Cloud, which is cool. Righto, Melbourne. GDG in Melbourne's March coding night. It's all sold out at the moment, but it's happening on the 18th at 4:45. Looks like it's at the Mantle Group office in Flinders Street.
Yep.
You can sort of get onto the wait list there if you try and register. Melbourne again has their Build with AI event. This one's the 25th of March. So we'll do another podcast before then, but I cover it just in case. 5 till 7 p.m. again at the Mantle Group office. They have spots available, so RSVP if you can. And last but not least is Darwin. Now this one's a little bit out. This is April the 10th. And it's happening at the Oaks Hotel. It's a Build with AI event. Starts at 6 p.m. And it's got yet another GDE. Geshan is speaking about building your own resume reviewer with Google AI Studio.
Resume reviewer, right? So it's like if you're a hiring manager, I guess, and you're reviewing resumes. Yeah, okay. All right. Well, they all sound like fun events. Boy, the building stuff with AI. I mean, geez, it's not going away anytime soon.
It's a whole event series now.
It is a whole event series.
Google have actually got, yeah. So we get, Google Australia does this whole Build with AI. It's like a month of Build with AI. And if you can come up with a talk as a GDE, you come up with a talk that incorporates AI and building cool things with AI, then they'll fund you to go across the country talking about it.
Right. Well, there could be a hardware driver being vibe coded with Gemini. That could be a story.
Yeah, just don't get yourself cease and desisted by Motu.
No. All right, then. With community news done, let's get on with the news items. All right. Of course, the hot topic of current affair at the moment is what's going on in Iran. We've got a story here from CNBC. NVIDIA, Amazon temporarily closed Dubai offices. Google employees stranded amid US-Iran war. Because we couldn't go this episode without mentioning what's going on in the Middle East. This article goes on to talk about tech companies with Middle East operations have scrambled to respond as fighting ripples across the region. NVIDIA temporarily closed its offices. Amazon shuttered its corporate offices. And dozens of Google employees remain stuck in Dubai after the company's cloud unit held sales kickoff there last week.
Yeah, and in fact, we had some Googlers that are on a project that we're all working on that were stuck at that same thing. They've managed to get out of Dodge now. So
Yeah. And I've got some friends in Dubai, and they're all locked up in their houses. They're saying, it's like the COVID days. No one's going out on the streets. It's really quiet. Everyone's been told to stay home. Quite a scary situation.
I was got a mate of mine that I was talking to last week about it. He's over in Dubai, and he said, it's pretty rough over there. There's a whole heap of noise, and the shockwaves are really piercing the chest with all the explosions that are going on. He said there's some big satellite dish near his house that got nearly whacked with one of the rockets.
Oh, they were going after it then, yeah.
Yeah. So, but he said a good amount of them been intercepted though, so no worries yet.
Oh.
Yeah. Checking in with him every now and then to make sure he's okay. And
Yep.
I mean, content-wise, like I don't know if you guys have ever seen like the LinkedIn lunatics subreddit. It's all the people who the people who use LinkedIn like their normal like social media stuff, and the amount of content of people being like, oh yeah, I just chartered this private jet to get out of Dubai, but it's like the same people who are like, oh well, I live in Dubai because it's the safest place in the world, and get out of the the hellscape that was wherever they particularly moved from, like, and then they're fleeing back to their hellscape.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, not anymore.
Yeah.
This article does bring something up which I must have missed. In 2019, NVIDIA acquired Mellanox, an Israeli company that makes Ethernet switches and other networking hardware, for around $7.13 billion, the largest deals in NVIDIA's history at the time. And today, outside of the US,
drawers full of Mellanox SFPs.
Yeah, Israel represents NVIDIA's largest research and development base. So there you go.
Yeah, right.
There you go. Did not know that.
I did see a news article the other day that says that there's a whole heap of Australians that are stranded over there at the moment. They're slowly getting repatriated back to the country.
Well, it's a bit hard when the main airport is one of the main targets.
Yeah.
All right, well, we'll keep an eye on that situation. I'm sure everyone's getting berated and in the news cycle anyway.
Like AWS has copped quite a few like strikes on their DCs around the Middle East.
Yeah, one of their DCs got hit, and they're saying move to other regions and back up your data.
Yeah, I mean it's interesting because I've always used the concept when we were talking about like zonal separation and regional separation with DCs. Like, oh, you need to be far enough apart. So like, if a bomb goes off, right? But we always just use it as as an example, right?
Yeah.
I was like,
this is so unlikely to happen.
Actually, yeah, of course it's not going to happen. Like a bomb, it's not going to blow up your data center, but just in case. Yeah. Oh, actually, it can happen.
Yep.
The Shahed drones have a range of 2,000 kilometres, so that's the distance you need between the two data centres.
Okay, well, I think the Australia's Southeast 2 region is just a smidge outside of that.
All right, well, we'll keep an eye on that situation. Let's move on and check out a few other things that's going on. Now, we're going to be mentioning Oracle a few times in this episode. Story on Cloud Wars. Now, did you manage to actually get some data on this, Dave? Because Oracle Q3 preview, this is talking about, overtake Google Cloud as world's hottest hyperscaler. Now, in this list, it still has Google Cloud as number 1 and Oracle as number 2. But do we have the Q3 results at this point?
Yeah, so I think the article that you originally posted was somebody's like, this is what I think is going to happen.
That's right.
But now the results have been out for 24 hours. So I don't have a comparison of like cloud versus cloud. But I mean, I was skeptical before this came out because there's a few articles that we're going to go through a bit later on today. But there has been a lot of bad news about Oracle in the last sort of week or two. So I was like, okay, this might be a bloodbath when their results come in. However, let's see. Let me go through. This is an article from Forbes.
I read the article in Forbes.
We have faster than expected revenue growth. I'll drop this link in for you. I just found this a moment ago. So faster than expected revenue growth. In their third quarter, revenue rose 18% to $17.2 billion.
Phew. That
is $270 million more than forecast. And they're expecting another 19% growth in the current quarter. So their adjusted earnings were beat as well. Let's see, earnings per share $1.79, which is 9 cents above consensus. And they're expecting $1.93 for the next quarter. they've had a 4-fold increase in their remaining performance obligations. So that's a measure of their future revenue. That rose 325% to $553 billion in their pipeline. And their capital expenditures were higher, but their forecast hasn't changed. So they did $18.6 billion in capital expenditures, which is 19% more than consensus, which was probably just they had to buy 2 extra DIMMs.
Old memory. So how does that compare to Google then?
Well, I don't have their scale yet compared to Google. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So we'll see that kind of fleshed out.
I was going to ask Gemini to generate me a table, but I probably should have prepared that one earlier. Wow. That's all I can say about that is wow. We've got, going back to Cloud Wars article here, he has his little top 10 list there, and he's got number 1, Google Cloud, and it says, still chuckling recalling it debuted at number 9 on the list 9 years ago. And Oracle Q3 numbers tomorrow, I'm projecting RPO of 349%, which is roughly what you just told us there, Dave. And then Microsoft coming at number 3, and AWS languishing number 7.
Yeah.
Legacy Cloud.
Cloud, yep.
It.
But I do wonder a little bit if, putting aside all the AI demand, is just because all compute is hard to get at the moment, right? And we see it on Google, we see it on AWS. Yeah. Like you can't always get what you want, but if you try, sometimes you can log on to Oracle and you can get it from them, right? So if they've got compute, if they have it, there's people who need to buy it, and you might not be in Oracle's cloud, and you're like, I need some compute. They have it. I'll have to spin up a small Oracle environment. Like maybe that's where it's coming from, right? It's not that, I desperately want to run Oracle. It's like, no, I want to run something else, and Oracle has the tin.
They do have a fairly generous free tier as well, if I remember correctly. They have a very good
free tier.
Yeah.
All right, well... go and check out Oracle, I guess. I mean, that's where we are.
No. We can't go recommending things.
Okay.
Come on. Damn.
I hear Larry's son is splashing cash out, so if he wants to acquire the podcast, I'm happy to chat.
$1 billion.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's move on. Now, there might be a light at the end of the tunnel with all this AI insaneness. And I posted a story to you guys, was it last week, talking about putting AI into ASIC, directly into ASIC, rather than having to have discrete GPUs and HBM and, interconnects and all the rest of it. Why not just make a chip that does a whole lot, right?
Yep.
And a company called Taalas launches a thing called Hardcore Chip with insane AI inference performance. And this is kind of the idea. Well, it extends a little bit beyond that idea, actually. Instead of just using software to compile and execute the GPU or an ASIC, such as a Google TPU, Taalas hardwires the model and its weights into what they call a hardcore ASIC, HC1, embedding the entire model into a bespoke application-specific chip. This strategy is both an advantage and a potential market hurdle. This sounds like a good idea to me.
It looks like that they're actually able to turn these around really quickly, which is the very, very impressive thing. They're marking like 2 months from like a new like state-of-the-art model coming out to being able to have an ASIC for it, which is striking.
Really good if crazy. They can get the fabs right. I mean, this Samsung and everyone gives them some time, but you're having trouble getting the fab time at the moment because of the HBM that's needed for model. So I don't know. It is a chicken and egg problem, right? If we can
I
overcome
can tell you
that
now,
hurdle.
I did give it a crack. So they've got a link in this article to a site called chatjimmy.ai.
Right.
It's in there. Have a crack at it. It's just like a Gemini AI interface where you can ask it questions. So I gave it the trolley problem.
Oh, yeah.
And, trolley problem, it usually takes 3 or 4 seconds to come back and tell you its overview of the problem and all that sort of stuff. This came back in 0.029 seconds.
Ooh.
It is so fast, it's not funny.
Yeah, I think this is the future, really.
God damn, it's quick.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Yeah. That was what I said this morning. That's why I stuck in the chat. Wow, this thing is lightning.
I just literally just said, tell me about VMware NSX. How can I install it?
Yep.
It came back in 0.0, like this. Before I'd put my arm, I hit enter. And before my arm was then back on the desk, it was up in front of me.
Yeah.
Wow.
It is so fast. So,
that is fast.
And this is like it's giving you answers before you've had a chance to get your finger off the enter key.
And you're not watching tokens like scroll out in front of you. It just bang, it flashes it straight up.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I had to have a crack at it just to see what it was like. I gave it a whole heap of problems, but the main one, because the trolley problem is quite a conundrum.
I've just noticed it mustn't be using RAG because I've just asked it to tell me about the Iran war, and basically it's up to 2020.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's
I mean, they say on their side, like, this is not like a cutting edge model. It's like they wanted to get it out there. It's cost them $30 million to get this first one out. But they just want people trying it. But geez.
Yeah, it's quick.
If you could get like Gemini 3 Flash running on.
Yeah. And I think this is the future, right? Like, you get your video card, you've got your physics chip right now, you've got your model chip on your video card, right? And that can do your gaming, something like Flash or Llama 3.1, just the small 8B models, and have at it.
So I'm just reading their blog article about it really quickly. Their tokens per second per user graph that they've got in here is absolutely mind-boggling. So we all know the NVIDIA H200 chip, the flagship chip that's been put into data centers all over the world, can consume 230 tokens per second per user, right? NVIDIA B200, 353 tokens. Grok does 594. Samba Nova, never heard of it, but sure, does 932. Cerebras does 1981. The Taalas HC1, 16,960.
This can't be ignored. Like, really, when it's processing tokens that quickly, this has to be the way.
And look, it's only using, at this point, it's using the Llama 3.1 8B model, which is a reasonably small model, but
certain use cases, it's perfect.
Yeah, that's right. It fits on a single board. Yep. So it's literally a single board AI.
Yep. And you add RAG to it, and suddenly it's usable, right?
Yep. Oh yeah, I think if they can implement RAG on this, it would be phenomenal.
All right, well, watch this space. I'm actually quite excited about that. That is some exciting AI news, not like the depressing, money go around.
Well, actually, in
sucking up resources.
In terms of the money go round, have you seen the power usage on it? So, a standard rack of GPU-based AI is like, I don't know, 600 kilowatts.
Stupid amounts.
Kilowatt per rack, yeah. This thing does 12 to 15 kilowatts a rack.
Right, yeah, because it's a custom ASIC, right?
Yeah.
And it's highly specialized, and there's no
need
wastage.
For liquid. Yeah, no need for liquid cooling, no need for really high power racks and all that sort of stuff. It reduces everything. There you go.
Yeah, all right. Well, yeah, watch this space. But speaking of needing local LLMs, I'm really searching for a segue here. Australia marks a major milestone in operational and intelligence data. Australian government's new air-gapped hyperscale defence secret environment delivered with Google Cloud.
Ooh, air-gapped distributed cloud. Very nice.
Very nice.
Yep. Yeah, so this is an article from Defence Connect, which I'm subscribed to. Defence Secret Environment, which is commonly known as DSE, is being implemented with Google Cloud. The sort of key takeaway I got from this is we were talking before about the Australian Signals Directorate and government organisations not being compliant with it. DSE is expected to align with the ASD's modern defensible architecture and zero trust architecture principles entirely. So these principles are never trust, always verify, assume a breach, validate explicitly and continuously. So that entire environment will be there'll be controls in there to microscope everything that comes in or out. And it's also so they're using an Australian partner to deliver it, an Australian cybersecurity partner, and yeah, it's essentially just. What are they? Was they distributed edge or something? They call it in Google.
What's it called?
It's distributed cloud.
Oh, is it distributed cloud? Yeah, right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. How do they get updates to that?
So you basically are provided all the binaries. They give you they will have Google stuff as well, that will come in, but
USB stick found in the car park.
Effectively.
Yeah. You're going to get your updates on CD-ROM posted to you with a Windows NT sticker.
Well, actually, a CD-ROM would actually be really good because you can't write to it, right? You think about it, right? That you've got a chain of trust there, right? Once it's burnt, right, or once it's printed, yeah. But USB could be compromised.
Worm media.
Worm media?
Yep. Right one through many. Well, that's
you would have to use something like that. Yeah.
It's true. Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, nice to know that they're using Google Cloud. We know that cloud logging, that's recording everything. So that's be a big part of it, I imagine.
I bet this is going to be they'll be running their Palantir stack on top of it, right?
More than likely.
Yeah, 100%.
And they've got a sticker on the sign that says Whopper. No? War games?
Yeah.
No? Okay.
I chuckled. That's a sensible chuckle.
That's what I do if I work there. I put a Whopper sticker on it.
I can't chuckle with that coughing, so I'm not going to chuckle. I will give it a smile.
Speaking of Google, Google is using clever math to I'll try that again. Google is using clever math to quantum-proof HTTP certificates. Google quantum-proofs HTTPS by squeezing 15 kilobytes of data into 700 byte space. Now, Ian, this sounds like a you story. What's going on here? Is this...
so it is sort of a me story.
No, it's cool though. It's something that's got to be done, right? I mean, quantum's just around the corner, and if you can break these certs, then we're in a world of pain.
Yeah. So what they want to do essentially is we want to progress the certificate chain of trust in browsers further, but we don't want to be leaving people behind.
You don't want the chain getting so long that it takes so long.
That's right. Well, there's two parts of this, right? You've got people who don't have a computer that's capable of validating the chain of trust in a reasonable time frame, right? And then you've got a problem where people with older devices won't actually get that new chain of trust. It's a bit like the SSL3 versus TLS1 problem when there's a whole heap of old computers that never supported TLS1 and they all got left behind. So Google are trying to thwart that. But
Microsoft fixed this by leaving everyone behind on Windows 10.
Yeah, well, and Server 2003 wasn't compatible with TLS 1, though there was a pseudo patch for it at some point. But yeah, there's a whole heap of issues with this, but the idea is that they're going to use Merkle tree certificates, which Cloudflare has a fantastic deep dive into Merkle trees that's linked in the article. And you should go and read it because it's really insane as how it works. But essentially, they replace the heavy serialized chain of signatures found in traditional PKI with Merkle tree proofs. So in a proof model, the CA signs a single tree head representing probably millions of certificates, and the certificate sent to the browser is merely a lightweight proof of the inclusion in that tree. So I sort of read it like a blockchain, essentially, of certificates. But it means that they're able to put a much bigger certificate into a much smaller space.
Right.
Because they're only providing the proof.
It's not the certificate per se, it's just the proof of that you exist in that signed certificate. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So really, really cool advance in technology. And I'd like to see quantum proof certificate.
It kind of takes, like, thinking of it, it's like, okay, this is as you said, we have this giant thing is like, this entire bucket of certs is fine, and if you're in this bucket, then it's okay. Do you remember back if you think of the way back during the COVID times and before times, when
that was
like
earlier this week for Ian.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Back when we were worried about it, right? And they were doing so much testing, and so they would do the batch testing. So they get like 1,000 samples, right? Instead of testing 1,000 samples, they just chuck it in a bucket, and then they test the whole thing. Is it in the bucket? Yes. Yep. Okay, then we can dig out into like the thing. But if it's like, this 1,000, there's nothing in it, great, throw it away.
Yeah. It's sort of the idea of the Merkle certificates, I think, is the current certificate tree that we've got is an append only. So as you sign a certificate, it gets appended to a list of valid certificates, and it's never deleted from there. Then you've got an extra list called a revocation list, in which certificates that have been revoked get listed on there, and again, it's append only. You can never ever delete from this list. The idea of this is a bit more like a blockchain where things get signed in different parts of the leg, and you're only validating that last little bit. That's the way I read it anyway. Right. The Cloudflare article is phenomenal to describe how it actually works.
Excellent. Well, if you want to get a deep dive into that, go and check out that article. I'll put the link in the show notes. But let's move on with a bit of security news. Gemini, thousands of public Google Cloud AP keys exposed with Gemini access after API enablement. Now, if you're not aware, that if you're accessing Gemini, one way to do that is to enable a key in your project, and then you can go into AI Studio and you can manage those keys and you can see those keys. And I was quite surprised the way that works. You can actually go and you can view that key. So normally when you create an API key, it's a one-shot thing. You just get the key and you've got to save it yourself and keep it. But no, if you've got a project that's got a key enabled already, you can import that into AI Studio, and then you can view the key quite nicely and quite easily in AI Studio. You can see what spend is on that key, what throughput's happened on that key, and just keep a close eye on that. But in this case, a bunch of keys have been exposed, nearly 3,000 Google API keys, and they are embedded in the client-side code, and they can be read easily. And specifically, the article goes on to say the problem occurs when users enable Gemini API on Google Cloud projects, which if you're using it, then you've probably done. causing the existing API keys in that project, including those accessible via the website JavaScript code, to gain surreptitious access to Google endpoints without any warning or notice. Now, the article goes on to show that the key is actually exposed in the URL. Like, hello.
Right. Oh, that's nasty.
Yeah.
That's really nasty.
So one particular user has said that his stolen Google API key resulted in $82,000 worth of charges between Feb 11 and 12, up from a regular $180 a month spend. So, yeah.
Yep.
Not great.
Bill shock.
A bill shock indeed. So my advice to you while I've been doing my little bit of vibe coding is have AI Studio open in a window next to you. Click on your key and go to spend, and there's a couple of tabs there on the left, spend and quotas, and you can keep a close eye on exactly what that key is doing and how many API requests it's making. If you've got keys you're not using, delete them, of course. Keep your number of keys to a minimum. And the keys that you do know are being used in apps, just, keep a close eye on them. Maybe set up your Openclaw agent to go in and have a look at it and send you some sort of alert. Or set some sort of quota. Oh, that's a good idea. There are quotas. Google Cloud projects have quotas, so set those so it avoids your getting a bill shock spend like that.
You can always drop your quota down.
You can always drop your quota down, exactly. So yes, be careful with your API keys. That advice hasn't changed. All right, so it's not like we've had enough AI news up to this point, but let's get a little bit more and let's get on with the AI wars.
AI wars.
All right, first story from AI Wars here. Nanoclaw or Openclaw? Now, I've put my Openclaw project on the back burner for the minute. My main problem with Openclaw was that it just didn't remember anything. It's very, very annoying. You tell it, you've got links available to you on the command line. You can go out and research anything you want. And then 5 minutes later, it goes, I'd like to look that up, but I don't have a Firefox API key. Hang on, I've just told you can go to the internet using this ability. So that was just one thing that annoyed me about it. But Nanoclaw sounds like the next iteration on Openclaw. And I made a little table here about between the two. Now, Openclaw, straight out of the gate, obviously, it's a fully featured ecosystem. It's got everything you need in there. And I mean, it's a moving target at the moment. They're constantly bringing new features in. Nanoclaw, from the get-go, is minimalist, and it's secure by isolation. So you start with a minimal core, and then you add to it as you need it. Openclaw, 430,000 lines of code. Nanoclaw, 4,000 lines of code. So much easier to audit, right? The security model, Openclaw, it's application level. With allowed lists and pairing codes, whereas Nanoclaw is working at the OS level in Docker and Apple container isolation. Even though Openclaw you can put in a container, which I managed to do, but everyone seems to run a bare metal, which is what the next point's talking about. Openclaw, bare metal, Nanoclaw containerized, or it's natively containerized, I suppose, is the term you're looking for. It comes as a container, a bit more secure that way. Now, Openclaw has a lot of integrations, 50 plus, and we've seen that there are security issues with a lot of them. Just don't go installing skills willy-nilly because you can end up with problems, whereas Nanoclaw has a much more moderate setup for that, and they're much more closely monitored. Now, this next one I thought was interesting. Openclaw is done with a bunch of config files. It's very annoying going around configuring this, that, and the other. Whereas Nanoclaw doesn't do that. It's configured using skills. And there's no configuration files per se. Now, I haven't played with it, but that does sound very interesting to me. The customization, Openclaw is a plugin system, whereas Nanoclaw's skills, which we just mentioned, that leverages, leans into their configuration paradigm. Openclaw, you can use any LLM, which is great in one respect. Nanoclaw is really optimized for Anthropic and Agentic, their Agentic SDK. And a little last one here on special features, Openclaw, mass integration, Slack, Discord, Gmail, yada, yada. You can integrate with anything. And if there isn't an integration, you can get it to create a skill to do that. Whereas Nanoclaw uses a thing called agent swarms, and it's native team collaboration. So the idea is you have, instead of having one all singing, all dancing agent that logs into everything, Nanoclaw out of the box will have micro agents that just do a particular task and only have the access to what they need to have access to. And each of those agents are containerized in their own space. So that improves the security somewhat like that.
So I think probably another point there is that, like, just looking at the code base sizes, and we know, and the developer, like it said, Openclaw is an entirely vibe coded product. Right, like the whole thing was just, it was prompts, right? And that's why you get this massive bloat, right? That's why you've got configuration files and things everywhere. It's all sorts of madness going on.
It is.
This looks like, it's like, okay, someone has looked at, okay, well, this is what Openclaw does. How would I code it?
Let's be intentional and code it.
If I was writing it, what would I do? And that's why he's down to 4,000 lines.
Anyway, that's our quick look at Nanoclaw. I do want to play with Nanoclaw. I think I'm going to pivot to Nanoclaw because there's some stuff about Openclaw that was just annoying me, but I'm not ready to go there just yet. I've got another half-baked project I've got to get through.
All the half-baked projects in the world.
Yep, exactly. Let's move on to Alibaba. Alibaba team open sources CoPaw, a high-performance personal agent workstation for developers to scale multi-channel AI workflows and memory. And I completely missed the segue there because if you want to run your Openclaw or your Nanoclaw, you probably want to run it on this thing, right? Your CoPaw. CoPaw is built on a technical stack comprising AgentScope Runtime, and REMI. It functions as a bridge between high-level agentic logic and the practical requirements of a personal assistant, such as persistent memory, multi-channel connectivity, and task scheduling.
Oh, and this persistent memory problem is what you were just complaining about, right?
The memory is a big thing.
Sounds like Banky's got a new project.
Vibe code it. So to break that down a bit, AgentScope, the underlying framework that handles agent communication and logic. The AgentScope Runtime, the execution environment that ensures stable operation and resource management. And the REMI, this is the big part, the memory management, a specialized module that handles both local and cloud-based memory. This allows agents to maintain long-term experience, solving the staleness issue inherent in standard LLM APIs. So you go along, you do your LLM query prompt, and go, great, give me an answer, and then you come back later, you do another one. You've got to basically feed all that information back in again. But if you can summarize your context and you can store it in some local metadata file or in some sort of database, then it maintains those important points that you've forced the LLM to effectively, for want of a better term, force the LLM to remember, or it's decided that is important to remember.
And it supports skills as well, which is good. So you can write custom skills for it, same way you can for most agents these days.
Yep.
And it's got a couple of integrations. I love reading this bit. So multi-channel connectivity, all domain access. And they currently support integrations with enterprise platforms, Bing Talk and Lark. I haven't heard of either of them.
I don't know what they are.
And social developer platforms, Discord, QQ, and iMessage.
Yep. That would expand, I'd imagine. Yeah. So there you go. NVIDIA getting into the Alibaba getting into the agentic space. And Dave, did you post an article there about Meta purchasing Openclaw?
Yeah, just no, not Openclaw. Maltbook.
Maltbook, sorry, Maltbook,
which we talked on, I think, last fortnight. Yeah. So that was the AI-driven Reddit. And yes, Meta just bought it like a day ago. So what are they going to cram more AI into the AI?
Probably.
Anyway, I thought Facebook was the social media site for bots anyway, so...
It's become that way.
Yeah.
There's so much AI slop on Facebook these days. It is just abhorrent.
I don't know why anyone would go on Facebook anymore. Like, the only reason I go into it is because, like, some, like, groups like my kids' scout group and stuff like that, like they have a page on it. That's the only reason I open that app, is to check that, because the feed is useless. What is all this garbage? I don't interact with any of this.
Yeah, all these groups.
I haven't seen any of the real people I know on Facebook for years.
Yeah.
Yeah, I use it primarily to keep in touch with guys that I was in the military with and keep up to date with. Our rifle club's got a page on Facebook, but that's it. I don't look at it for anything.
Yeah, exactly. Well, maybe Maltbook's going to be the new place for it.
Nah, I don't need to see what AI thinks about the world.
I will put a link to the Better Offline article. Meta just scooped up Maltbook, and the comments are hilarious. All right, well, let's get on to some bigger news here. Stargate. The Stargate project is scrapped, or is it?
OpenAI's
massive Stargate data center cancelled as firm can't reach terms with Oracle. Operator struggles with reliability issues. Meta said to be interested in snatching excess capacity. There's so many things going on here.
And not to mention, so they've got a sort of pseudo fight going on with the residents of the area too, because they don't want the data center there.
The DC is already there, right? It's an expansion.
Yeah, that's right.
It's a big expansion.
It's going from 1.2 gigawatts to 2 gigawatts, roughly.
Yeah.
And the locals are like, no, we don't want that.
Now, I watched a great YouTube video last night discussing the RAM price increase, and the announcement of Project Stargate was partly responsible for the escalation in RAM prices. So around the middle of last year, June, July, if you track the RAM prices, and when this project was announced, then they said they're going to need so much HBM4, I believe, that they're trying to get. That's when the all hell started breaking loose with the RAM price. Now
that was when OpenAI went and said, "Yeah, we're going to go buy like 40% of the world's supply for the next, 5 years."
Yes, that's right. Yeah. Which I'll link that in the show notes as well, because that was a really well done video. And here we are, potentially, maybe not.
Yeah.
Yes.
So according to this article, it's actually a really well-written article, it says the Abilene campus remains one of the biggest AI data center projects announced so far, yet to date has been known primarily as a part of the widely publicized Stargate project, right? So we all know that that's what that campus is specifically for. So relations between Oracle and Crusoe, which appears to be the operator of the data center, I think. The article doesn't actually say. They've had reliability issues. The winter weather disrupted parts of the liquid cooling infrastructure, forcing
which I find ironic. How stupidly ironic is that?
Yeah, exactly.
Just open the doors. Open the doors. That'll cool it down.
So it forced several buildings offline for multiple days. Yet both companies say cooperation is strong and development is swift and all that sort of stuff. Right. Given the rising tensions, Crusoe began searching for another tenant to the data center because obviously there's issues between Oracle and OpenAI. NVIDIA reportedly stepped in to help ensure the site would continue deploying its hardware rather than systems powered by AMD. NVIDIA provided Crusoe with a $150 million deposit and assisted efforts to attract Meta, which is not part of the Stargate project at all, but is now a prospective tenant for the additional capacity. So we can see here sort of Meta's going, oh, we need some more capacity, and they're building something that OpenAI is not going to use anymore, so we'll take all of that.
Yeah, it's interesting seeing NVIDIA kind of working as a broker. Like, we don't care who runs our gear as long as it's purchased, right?
Exactly.
As long as it's running, then yeah.
We've told the world we're not going to produce GPUs anymore. We're only going to produce AI chips. Therefore, we need someone to buy them. Yeah. It's an interesting. It's playing out very interestingly in that there's like a cobweb of links all over the place. Oracle. So according to this article, Oracle's general partnership with OpenAI remains unchanged. In July last year, Oracle agreed to develop 4.5 gigawatts of data center capacity for OpenAI, and that program continued.
And then, just to put it in perspective, 1 gigawatt is comparable to the output of a nuclear reactor and can supply electricity to hundreds of thousands of homes at peak usage.
Yep.
That being said, a nuclear power plant was not reported to be part of the negotiations.
Yeah. Just put your prices up.
Yep. And that explains why the locals don't want it.
Yeah. Put the prices up for everyone, right?
Yep. The demand in that area will go through the roof, and the people who will pay the price for it are the local residents who've done nothing different.
All right, well, watch this space because, this one might be cancelled, but it's certainly not the last data center that will be built. Oracle laying off 30,000 staff due to AI costs, but not in the way you would think. It's because AI is costing them, not because AI is replacing their jobs. Interesting.
It's just they need money for CapEx.
Yeah.
So that's a huge chunk of their workforce, though. Right?
Oh, it's massive.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've got 162,000 employees as of May last year. So 30,000 of them for the chop.
Right. Yeah. So they'd be individuals that are not on the AI bandwagon, you would imagine.
Well, it says here that some cuts will be aimed at job categories that the company expects will shrink due to AI.
Yeah. Okay.
DBAs.
DBAs. Well, I had Gemini fix that little SQLite problem I had the other day. So, yeah, it's possible. In December, the company said it expects the capital expenditures for fiscal 26 to be $15 billion higher than the $35 billion figure the company estimated during its first quarter earnings call. So, yeah, they've got to find that money somewhere, I guess.
Yeah, that's quite the increase. Scope creep, anyone?
And I guess this is the pivot, right? Like, Oracle's not the only company making this pivot to AI. It's going to be turbulent times until everything settles down again. It's, I think of it as the modern industrial revolution. There was obviously around, from the 19th century, late 19th century, there was upheaval like this, but it wasn't as quick. Because it's not as accelerated as the IT boom that we have at the moment, but it's effectively the same thing. And then eventually it'll settle back down, and we'll have a new normal after that. And finally, to finish off the show, we can't ignore We can't ignore the man baby and his tantrums.
I mean, this is the AI wars segment, right? So we should be talking about literal and AI war and war driving with AI.
So, I could tell the backstory on this, but my take, the backstory, it seems at the moment on this is that the Department of Defense /War in the US went to Anthropic and ask them to use, if they could use their model for broad public surveillance of their citizens and for autonomous killbot drones.
Yeah.
And Anthropic basically said no. That's
it's
that
against
goes against
the
our code of
EULA.
ethics. Yeah. And the US government threw their toys out of the cot, had a hissy fit, and then flagged Anthropic as a security risk, and no one in the US department, in any US department, is to use the Anthropic models at all.
Yeah, they marked them as a supply chain risk.
Supply chain risk.
Yeah, because they
what a load of bollocks! Really?
Yeah, it's and honestly, I agree with Anthropic CEO on this one. You cannot, in good conscience, accede to that sort of a request.
Yeah, but they're also saying they're just like Anthropic has come out and said AI is not ready for this, right? It's not good enough to even putting aside the moral sort of thing of being well, we don't really want our product to be used to just autonomously killing people. Putting that aside, they're it's not at that level. We can't trust it with that level of ability, right? We can't, with that the outcomes of what would come from this system, and keg breath and the mango Mussolini want what they want.
Yeah, they don't like to be told no, that's for sure.
I think a concern I've got with this is not only that the US government wants to use AI to autonomously kill people, that seemed abhorrent to me. But my big issue here is that they've come and asked an enterprise that builds AI for a living to use their stuff. They've been told no. They've had a tantrum, thrown their toys out of the cot, and deemed them a security risk. What's stopping them going and building their own now that can do that much worse?
Absolutely.
Well, because the other ghoul, Sam Altman, right, had not a problem. He is so hungry for the investment because he's been, scrounging around trying to get funding because OpenAI just burns cash like nothing else.
And Microsoft pivoting away from them.
Correct.
Yep.
And so they couldn't wait to sign on with the US government for this. So they're fine. So they've signed. They've jumped straight into it.
And yet their own employees are signing this letter to the government saying no doing this. This is bad.
Yeah, so that's the other little twist to the story. Both Google and OpenAI employees have come out and supported Anthropic and saying you made the right decision.
As they should, because it's the only moral thing to do.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry, but no matter how perverted your view of the world is, killing people without any sort of view on what they've done or anything like that.
Oversight or anything, yeah.
Oversight, yeah, that's the word I was looking for. Sorry, brain's not really functioning at the moment. Still got that cloudy thing going on. Is just not on. To be able to do that autonomously without an actual person looking at it and going, yes, that person needs to die for whatever reason, as random as it might be, is just, it's not on in my book.
No. It's literally Skynet.
Yeah, it is. I'm sure they've been watching the Terminator films and just going, I'll tell you what, we could make these Terminator drones.
That's a good
cool
idea, yeah. Let's do that.
But we won't put red eyes in them because that makes them scary. But we'll fit their arms with machine guns. Yeah, I don't like this at all. I think the employees at Google and OpenAI that have signed this letter are bang on the money. And I think Anthropic CEO was bang on the money when he said, no, get stuffed. And I really hope that he used that exact sort of language to them.
Yep. But OpenAI are the wild cards in all of this, right?
Well, I don't even know that they're the wild cards. I think Sam Altman's just as crazy as the people who want to use AI to kill people.
All right. Well, we'll keep an eye on that cheery note. Yeah. I'll go back to vibe coding my hardware driver, and hopefully have a little bit of fun there. But it's been a great week, guys. It's been a good episode. I really enjoyed sitting down and chewing the fat over a lot of this AI stuff with you. Don't forget, you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube Music. Go to Apple Podcasts and write us a review. That'll really help the show out. And while you're on YouTube, why don't you start the discussion there and smash that like button. Contact the show, contact@gcpbytes.com.au. Find us on the web, www.gcpbytes.com.au. And don't forget, today's sponsors are Hivetech Solutions, Technofitch Consulting, and Mantle Group. That's about it from us. You guys got anything else to add?
Nah, I'm out of here.
We're out of here.
I need Panadol.
Yeah, I need coffee, and I'll catch you guys at our meeting a bit later in the day. See ya. Bye.
Bye.
For those who don't know what the trolley problem is, the trolley problem is a philosophic question that you can ask people. It's all about ethics and moral philosophy, and it's basically you're the driver of a the Americans call it a trolley, we call it a tram.
Pull the lever.
You're driving out, rolling down the tracks of San Francisco. In front of you, the tracks fork. On one of the tracks, there are 5 elderly people or older people. I've just said older people tied to the tracks. And on the right-hand track is 1 younger person tied to the track. You can't stop the trolley. You must take one of the forks. Which one do you take? So what I didn't do there is give the model the consequence of their action, because I wanted it to try and infer that. And it did. Straight away, it inferred that, if regardless of which one you take, people are going to die. So which one do you take? And it gave this really good synopsis of the different perspectives of the problem, which is quite a lot better than I've had out of, any other model